بنا لنتعاون، هيا بنا لنحافظ على عالمنا، إنه بيتنا الكبير، ونحن كلنا أسرة، وكل منا مهم وله دور كبير، لنجعل من هذا البيت الكبير بيتا نظيف وفي بيئة نظيفة. Change my habits and throwing garbage everywhere. It is a lot cheaper, and it is my house at the end of the day. This is my house, you know, my country is my house, really. It's not that I throw outside my car. It is not mine. This is a country I live in. This is a space I live in. Now, my actions have a direct effect on myself. So this is what I think it's a must, that we create this connection, this feeling that whatever I do personally has effect on me personally.
Every day, thousands of cans, packaging material and other wastes are carelessly littered on roadsides and in residential areas. They add up, pile up. We assume that some magic would destroy them, and that when next time someone passes the road, it will be clean. Numerous people in cities all across the globe assume so. But the cans, plastic bottles keep piling up, slowly but surely. Every day it assumes threatening proportions. The situation keeps simmering. The problem is at every city's doorstep, and it is explosive. How to manage its waste? Ugly mounds of waste which can't be wished away. It is 5:30 in the morning. The first rays of the sun strike the beautiful city of Ras Al Khaimah. The city stirs to life. Of 35 specialized vehicles of all varieties, front loaders, rear loaders, pickups and shovels, wheel out of the workshop of the Ras Al Khaimah Municipality and Public Works Department. A hard day's work awaits them. Theirs is an important mission to save the fragile ecosystem. They are a part of a massive exercise, IWMP, launched by the municipality to streamline the collection of waste in the emirate. As these trucks wind their way through the streets, another set of earth movers, road rollers, forklifts, tankers and huge trucks rev up far away in the desert. 25 kilometers away in the desert, far from the city limit, they are busy carving out a huge crater in the desert, Ras Al Khaimah's new landfill. While many cities world over still struggle to find a safe way to dispose of their waste, the Ras Al Khaimah Municipality and Public Works Department imported the best technology available from the US to set up this waste disposal system. It comprises of action on three fronts: the streets for efficient and systematic collection of garbage, the MRF, material recycling facility for recovery of reusables, and finally the secure sanitary landfill for the disposal of non-recyclables and biodegradable materials. Another part of this battle is being conducted in the homes and classrooms of Ras Al Khaimah, creation of awareness. Because no efforts, however honest, can succeed if they are not backed by a change of thought. All these comprise the Integrated Waste Management Program, or IWMP. The moving spirit behind all this is His Highness Sheikh Saud bin Sakar Al Khaimah, Chief of the Ruler's Court and Chairman of the Ras Al Khaimah Municipality and Public Works Department.
In Arabia here, before, people could not survive without a sense of responsibility ingrained into their ethics value. You see, every household was really responsible for cleaning not only their household inside, but really to clean, the surrounding, and they would be responsible for delivering, their waste to a dump. So it's that sense of feeling is there here.
Each household, although the houses were nice and simple, they had this outside small area where you had cows, you had goats, you would give them whatever leftover of food. So it was complete. You are completing the cycle. There was no waste to be generated and thrown. Not like today you find at the end of every day in front of a house a full skip, full. How many kgs are we producing per person per day? It is just incredible. And this is just money down the drain.
I think the modern societies everywhere is a life of convenience. You bring a packaged food, you throw it, it is easy. So this is what is built into commercialized world. If you go and buy a CD from the market, the CD is packed into a plastic wrapper, then it is packed into a polyethylene, and then it is packed into another styrofoam, or then it is packed into a cardboard. All those things is part of packaging. It is packaging and how you make your products attractive. So it is the convenience.
The older generation would have said, "Mafi mashkali, no problem with this toss." I think now they understand. And we unfortunately travel in some parts of this country, which is a beautiful country, that are covered with blue bag.
The more we consume, the more waste we produce, the more waste that has to be managed, which also costs money.
Increasing population and urbanization made the problem even more complex. Complex waste in which hazardous, non-hazardous, degradable and non-degradable, recyclable and non-recyclable are all mixed up, either strewn all over the city or dumped in unscientific dumps where they lie rotting for years, with harmful gases and chemicals escaping into the air, seeping into the groundwater, contaminating one of the most precious resources on this planet, our ecosystem. It is fragile and critical for the survival of man. The municipality, led by His Highness Sheikh Saud bin Sakar Al Khaimah, Chief of the Ruler's Court and Chairman of the Ras Al Khaimah Municipality and Public Works Department, recognized the explosive nature of this situation and decided to replace it with the most modern and efficient waste management system. The result was IWMP. The 35 specialized vehicles, manned by a two-man crew each, a part of the collection system, head for the 3,000 containers spread all over the city and the hinterland of the emirate. About 2,500 small drums and barrels further the reach of this collection system to narrow streets and bylanes. No corner remains untouched by the winds of change sweeping the streets of this lovely emirate.
Collection, segregation of waste. Generally people think you need 4 containers, 5 containers, each container costing $60, $70. We went into a very simple program, 2 container systems, one for recyclables, one for non-recyclables. The recyclables, when they are collected, we take it to our material recovery facility, and we incorporated a system there that we can separate it. So you can make these things simple, cost-effective, workable, sustainable, and it is possible to do it.
We adopt here in this city a 2-bin system. One is a blue container, which we use for the garbage. The other is a green, which is used for the recyclables.
We get requests from everywhere. When they feel that they have a shortage of drums, for example, we get requests from areas 180 kilometers far away from Ras Al Khaimah. So everybody cares that they want to keep their area clean.
This is source segregation. It helps manage the waste faster and more efficiently. Households, individuals and institutions are requested to put their waste into specialized containers. 3,000 large containers with lids are placed where trucks can have access. Apart from these are in-house sealed compactors which cater to institutions like the Sucker Hospital and various shopping malls. Front-loader trucks in a surgical operation pick up these containers and load the contents into their voluminous bellies. It is all mechanized. Still, the helper collects all the spillaway back into the container. These trucks handle waste from places as distant as Nasla, 130 kilometers on the Oman border. Each truck makes about 3 round trips a day. An elaborate control room maintained at the Public Works Department keeps track of the logistics of this huge system, waste collected and number of trips made. The municipality office has a toll-free hotline where citizens can inform if they see any containers which are full.
Well, we have what we call a complaint center. So we get the complaints, that registered, and then distributed right away to the concerned people to take action right away.
Immediately a crew swings into action to empty it and take the waste to its next destination, the 5,000 square meters modern materials recovery facility. As the truck wheels in and unloads its contents, 2 workers segregate tires and heavy items, put the remaining load onto the conveyor belt of the sorter.
This facility also acts as a transfer station in the sense that the collected waste before going to the landfill comes to this facility, and there is a process and the refuse alone is transferred to the landfill. So in this facility, the procedure is very simple. The trucks bring the waste, that's the first stage, receiving of the waste. Then we have spotting, position and unloading. We unload the waste in the designated area. Then the next stage is the sorting of the recyclables or segregating the recyclables. And the final stage is collection of the refuse to the landfill. So in general, a materials recovery facility is a waste processing industry where waste is treated as a valuable raw material and the reusable components are segregated using an equipment technology and manpower. When the waste passes through the conveyor belt, the first bay on either sides are used to collect green waste. The second bay is used to collect cardboards. The third bay is used to collect newsprints. The next bay we use other mixed paper. And then we have glass bottles and then PET, your polyethylene tetraphthalate clear bottles, plastic. Then we have polyethylene tetraphthalate PET colored. Then we have HDPE white, HDPE colored, and in the last bay we have metals and aluminium. And once these materials are segregated, they are sent to a baler where it is baled. Baling is nothing but compacting. It's compacting. The recyclable materials we compact because it saves a lot of space. 1 ton of PET bottles, for example, you say 1.5 liter bottle PET is 20,000 bottles. It would take a lot of space. But when you bale it, that 1 ton of PET bottles, it just occupies a space maybe about 35 into 50 by 50 inches. Just a solid cake. So that saves a lot of space. And baling is very essential because during shipment, 2 tons of cardboards, we may need about 20-foot container just to put it uncompacted. But when it's baled, we can put about 26 tons.
That lot of time people think that you take the waste, you sort things, and then you have achieved the recycling. That's not true. You have to go one step further. That from what you have segregated, you take something useful out. I'll give you a few examples. From plastic, you create plastic granules. From plastic granules, if you cannot make anything else, you make black pipes which go in the construction industry. Similarly, if you have paper, then you take the paper, and if you have a brown paper, then you create the brown paper. If you have, say, clean paper, now this is very interesting. You take the best paper, which is CPO, the computer printout, and you mix it with newsprint and brown paper. This whole thing is totally destroyed. It has no value. But if you separate the paper, the white paper, white ledger and CPO, and you keep the other paper separate, you have a value 4 times enhanced.
The main goal of the waste management program is recycling, to use the same material, especially the material non-degradable, to use it as much as you can. It's save of money, save of pollution.
The improvement comes when you tie down everything from generation of the waste, storage at the point of generation, transportation of waste, then sorting and segregation of waste, then recycling it, manufacturing something else, like from our PET plastic bottles, we are making granules. So, what we are doing from a recovered material, you are enhancing the value of the recovered material. Recover the rubber portion, you devulcanize it, you mix it in manufacturing other rubber products, it is the same rubber again. So you use it in other rubber products, or mats, car mats.
As the PET, metal and paper head for recycling plants, all green matter, food waste, etc. head for the landfill site. Situated 25 kilometers from the city limits, this is a marvel of simple human ingenuity, technology and planning. It is Middle East's first modern, sanitary, secure landfill. Experts of the US-based environmental assessment company, Ceres Associates, made a detailed survey, and 5-kilometer inland from the main coastal highway, a natural horseshoe-shaped depression of 100 hectares was chosen as the site of the municipal solid waste disposal facility, or the landfill. While choosing the site, distance from the sea and the city, groundwater flow and the geology of the place was taken into consideration. It replaced the old landfill, which was unlined and which was a high risk to the ecosystem, as it was situated on the shoreline.
Waste was being disposed in a location without a liner system. So now what has changed is that the waste is disposed into a landfill which is designed and built according to United States Environmental Protection Agency's subtitle D specifications, which are very, very stringent. It requires you to put a composite liner system comprising of a clay liner and a high-density polyethylene liner and a drainage system underneath the liner and monitoring system, monitoring wells, gas recovery system, leachate collection system. So this is all what is the world standard. A landfill is like a living object. It breathes, it gives out gases, it produces water. The term we use in the engineering is leachate. What happens? You have thrown a half-empty bottle of medicine into the garbage. Somebody has thrown some paints. Somebody has thrown his batteries. So you throw all those things in there and it goes into one place. Now in this place there is a pressure and interaction of bacteria, it is being decomposed, so a lot of water is produced. Now this water is leached through the system. Now if you have underground water, it is going to go and contaminate that underground water. More dangerous is the gas. This gas travels laterally through the sites, it will travel down, it will travel up. It is traveling in all the directions. So unless you have the outlet for this gas, to go somewhere, which is we do in a gas collection system. For leachate, we have a leachate collection system. And for water not to penetrate into the soil and go to the underground water, we have a liner. So you are protecting it from all sides. For air pollution, you have gas collection system, so gas does not come out of the surface.
The new landfill was made in conformation with the US EPA subtitle D specifications. 2 to 3 meters of bed soil was excavated from the natural floor of the valley and replaced with a layer of compacted soil. The slopes were engineered to a ratio of 3:1. The floor sloped to drain to a central trench which has a perforated pipe. This ensures control of the amounts of liquid in the landfill at all times. On this treated surface, protective layers of GCL or geosynthetic clay liners, geomembranes, and a thick drainage layer of gravel with thick geotextile layer on top of it were laid down in a scientific and controlled manner so as not to tear these specialized fabrics. Although the GCL is a self-healing fabric, minor tears repair by themselves as the fabric expands on getting moist. These specialized layers were covered with a protective soil layer. Since ages, urban planners tried to control waste and manage it. Evidence is, in Athens in ancient Greece, 2,500 years ago, it was decreed that waste be transported at least a mile from the city. Some of the first modern landfills in the US came in the early 1900s, prompted by concern for public health. By the 1930s, sanitary landfills had become more common. By 1960, 1,400 American cities had sanitary landfills, but many cities world over still lack scientific waste management programs. The landfill at Ras Al Khaimah is a pioneering effort in the Middle East, because despite high standards of living and remarkable growth rates in the region, environmental awareness is still wanting.
Well, they've made this commitment, and it's a technical project that's done very well, I think to the highest standards. And I think the only kind of project of its type in the Middle East.
As waste is dumped into the landfill, bacteria and other microorganisms start decomposing it. This leads to the generation of gases, out of which methane, a highly flammable gas, is a major component. Often dumps catch fire spontaneously, as uncontrolled formation of methane reaches hazardous levels.
This landfill is not going to catch fire because we have a proper gas recovery system. After we have laid our first layer of trash into it, we are going to lay a horizontal grid of gas collection pipes. And then we will connect it to vertical risers. And every 50 feet, that is about 15 meters, we will have a layer of horizontal with vertical risers connected to it. So it takes, a landfill to start producing gas between 9 months to 1 year or 1.5 years. When it goes to a substantial volume, our design calls for putting a small, recover all this gas, purify it, and run a small generator to produce electricity. When you have engineered it properly in the bottom, you close it properly also. And in the closing also, you provide a drainage system, you provide a cap, you provide proper gas ventilation, and then you can use it like a common thing would be you convert it into a golf course. You create it into a jogging track, a park, just a green area, a plantation. Or if your compaction is good and you have given enough cushion, use it for light industry. That a community generating the waste and a landfill are essential to each other. And I think over a period of time they have learned to live together.
Hazardous waste is kept in a specified cell segregated by a HDPE liner and properly documented. Radioactive waste, explosive flammable waste, toxic matter, untreated medical or biohazardous waste will be rejected at the Ras Al Khaimah landfill. Dozers push the waste to the active landfill phase for efficient use of available space. Every day the waste is covered with 15 centimeters of soil to protect it from birds and scavengers. The liquid wastewater would be used to moisturize the landfill and turn it into an anaerobic bioreactor. The liquid undergoes biological treatment to make it harmless, while the solid waste decomposes rapidly and becomes biologically inert. As a result, the gaseous byproducts of waste decomposition are increased in quantity. Larger institutions like shopping malls, which have large volumes of waste being generated, have an in-house sealed compactor on location which treats waste on the spot, and the compressed waste is transported from these locations.
You construct a landfill and you don't use that space creatively, then you will keep on creating one cell after another. This one, the way we are compacting the waste, we are pre-compacting it into like bricks, like blocks, and we are taking it there into the landfill. What it has done is, say if our landfill by using a conventional method would have lasted us for 2 years, now it will last us for 3 years.
The green waste is taken to the compost pit where it is turned into compost for gardens and farms.
Composting is basically developing natural organic fertilizer. Anything by nature decays by itself, and there is some bacterial action or microorganism action, and they become fertilizer. Here what we are trying to do is most of the organic waste that is not recyclable as in the facility, materials recovery facility, we try to take them, and we are developing a composting system through aerobic respiration, that is by giving proper supply of oxygen, and we are trying to make natural organic fertilizer.
We have some wild trees which keep on growing. You cut them, they come up again, and we were taking them and we were throwing them in the landfill. Now we are taking them and we are turning it into a organic fertilizer. So that's where it is the uniqueness of the program, that this program takes care of all the components of waste, recovers maximum which can be recovered, and residual is disposed of in an environmentally sound manner. I think the worst problem we have in Ras Al Khaimah is construction and demolition waste. We have a lot of empty spaces. Anybody demolishes a house just throws things in the next door neighbor's yard or something. So what the new legislation which has come in provides that every time you want to demolish something or construct something, government of Ras Al Khaimah has created a separate company which is owned by the government. And when somebody goes to apply a permit for construction or demolition, he has to go to that company, rent a box, and put that box at construction site. And it will be placed only in that box. It will be not put on the roadside. So this is a very, very useful program. It is going to improve the aesthetics of the city. Plus what it is going to do is all this waste, we are not taking it to our landfill. You know, generally you will take it and dump it into the landfill, but we are not taking it to the landfill. We have created an area where we restore it, we'll bring the equipment, we will crush it, and it will become a graded, when I say graded means an engineering material, to go back and use as an engineered fill, or use as a road base, or a sub base. So it will become a useful material. Again, it will be completely recycled.
While experts from Ceres Associates and the Ras Al Khaimah municipality are busy putting up the infrastructure and technology of international standards, another change is on, a change of hearts. While simple tools like bins clamped to poles, properly placed containers source the waste to technological marvels like the MRF and the landfill sites, experts are busy reaching out to the people, the awareness campaign. All this infrastructure would come to nothing if the origins of waste were not monitored, the individual and his lifestyle. Signboards placed all over the city warn citizens of a penalty of 500 dirhams for littering. These are backed by environmental regulations for industrial, commercial and municipal establishment enacted on the authority and in support of the Federal Law number 24.
The solution to this is probably to have more signs and way more bins. And the signs, most of them are in English, and we should have more signs in Arabic.
They are doing it in two ways. They are doing it as a training, awareness in the community, but they are also, at the same way, they are supporting with the enforcement of law with it. That yes, this is what you are supposed to do, but if you don't do, this is what will happen to you. And it was not only saying, they did it.
We can get compliance from each side. From the awareness, we can get compliance for certain people. Some are scared of being fined. Again, they will comply. Some believe 100% in the issue. So from each point of view, we get the percentage of compliance increases.
Ras Al Khaimah is the only state which has developed a complete set of environmental enforcement regulations. And we are in the process of hiring now environmental inspectors, which have an authority by a decree to start fining people.
So if everybody complies, then we are successful 100%.
We have, as a part of this management project, waste management project, we have environment education community outreach program. We invite all schools, most of the public or big consulting firms. We take them to the landfill, show them, describe them the importance of the landfill. We take them to the facility, recovery facility, recycling plant. We show them how the things are recycling, how it is recycled, and so this creates a sort of awareness.
Shall we wait for everybody to do so that we can do. No. We shall start what we feel we should do. So I think each individual can contribute. Each individual can be an example for somebody else, a good teacher actually. You know, action speaks louder than whatever we can say by words. So if each citizen here, if he does help us in looking after the environment, looking after the, the waste, then he definitely will set an example for his brothers, his father, for his mother, for his children, for his wife, and for the rest of our community. So it's, at the end of the day, a society is a collection of individuals. If I talk in a different analogy, if you think about computer business, you got software, you got hardware. You need both to work. A good software is needed to work on a nice hardware computer. So in this business, definitely you need the words program, because whatever you have in terms of landfill and MRF facility and all the kind of programs we do, segregation by source, is really you need a society that is aware of what you're doing and compliant with these targets. So it's, you've got to go to the field, to the people, to the individual, and make him partner in this process.
We have divided the city into different sections, and we are going by those section by section by section. We are using help from Higher College of Technology. We are taking help of the Social Welfare Department, where their workers go house to house and they carry a message. They talk to the housewife, and they talk to the maid servants who work there, or anybody else who is responsible in throwing the waste. So that's how we are targeting it, that door-to-door campaign. We distribute leaflets, we distribute the literature, so that's how we are doing. But individual contact, we are making slow progress, but we are making it house to house. In our material recovery facility and in our landfill, we have created a visitor center. So we will have regular people from the community, from the schools, from the colleges, from all walks of life, men, women, children, visiting program every day or second day. So people come, they look at it, what is being done, so they are aware of how we can handle it.
To have success in the program, awareness is a must. And we started with children and awareness. Once you convince children of the message you wanted to reach them, then they can educate even their parents. They can be the essential part of the society. Plus, they are the future generation. So when you start with children awareness, this is the best way. And thanks God, successfully, we did too many activities in the schools, and we have still this program going on. Now this year as well, we have an intensive program for awareness as well.
يجب علينا نضع علامات على الشاطئ لكي لا يرموا الأوساخ والفضلات على الأرض، ونضع سلات قمامات كثيرة لكي يعلموا أن الفضلات يجب أن تذهب إلى سلة القمامات وليس على الأرض، ولكي لا يحدث أي أوساخ على الشاطئ ولا تتلوث، قد تموت الأسماك وغيرها.
Two schools, if you go to visit them, like the English school here and the Scholars Indian School, you will see the difference yourself. Everything they separate. Everything they separate. Bottles, glass, paper, and you don't see any trash littered there. And the students from one of the schools, they came and they said, we want to adopt our neighborhood for cleaning program. So now the children are going and talking to the neighbors, not to litter, not to throw things outside.
I'm very proud of what is going on in Ras Al Khaimah. And I was very confident that it will work because they have the right ingredient. When you have the instruction or the directions from the top, and it has come in the form of Sheikh Saud, then you have the expertise, you have the resources to bring in that expertise. You see, this is the blessing that we have in the UAE. God has blessed us with wealth, which is the oil. With it, a lot of things came. But we have the resources to pick and choose. We should be wise enough to see what is the best available on the global scene and pick it and bring it and implement it with us.
The whole concept consists of minimizing the waste, dumping it in a proper way, not to harm the environment. We are in a place where underground water is very important to us, so avoiding polluting that, recycling. We are lucky that we haven't reached Europe stage in polluting. We are still, I can say, a virgin place, so if we can manage to do it the proper way from the beginning, so we'll be saving a lot of efforts and money in the future as well.
We must find a sustainable, economical solution to improve the environment, and that is to use the governmental existing resources and the expertise. We went to a direct approach, that the resources which already exist in the government, that make use of those resources. So if the government of Ras Al Khaimah had the equipment was used. If they had a labor force, then the labor force was used. If they had workers, the workers were used. If they had supervisors, we used the supervisors. So existing resources, utilization of existing resources was our, I think, the biggest asset in this project. That they mobilized their existing resources, we provided the technical know-how. We found a combination which I call as sustainable environmental development, that you combine the resources of the government sector and expertise of private sector to come to an end result, to achieve your objective.
Well, I think it's vital, because if you don't commit to this kind of a program in this kind of a region, with population growing as it's growing, and all the other kinds of pressures that are happening in this place, you pay the price eventually. In this particular instance, for the environment, bringing the leaders together, making the commitment of resources, finding the support in the community, and doing it not this year only, but for 10 years, 20 years, is a hard struggle. They have to do it, but it's not easy. And I commend them if they can persist. They must persist. Here they've tackled it, which I think they had to do, but as you said, not everybody does. This is an effort that they should be commended for.
But I can see Ajman, Al Guwain, they should really benefit from that, because it will save them a lot of money. It will, in the end, I'm sure it will make them money. And they need the financial resources, the financial reward that will come from it to build the infrastructure. Okay, that is an experiment that was started there, and it is working and it is succeeding, so it should be replicated in the other Emirates.
Well, I think you're right. It has to start in the house, father, mother, children. And some of those decisions, buying something that comes wrapped in plastic that won't degrade or has to get filtered properly, or even if you make that decision and buy, but in the house you can recycle, you can use in such a way that it's friendly to the environment. I know this project is one of the most advanced in this part of the world, but in other parts of the world, for 20, 30 years, they've been dealing with this problem. It's not too late inside those houses to make the kinds of decisions that will really pay in the future. I'm hoping I can still go to that desert and find it almost like it used to be, and hopefully in the future even better. Inshallah, even better.
It's only the start. The journey is long, It's an endless job, luckily.
An enlightened leader with a vision and a hard-working public have set their hearts to fight a problem which others ignore, protection of the environment. No doubt compliance to the two-bin system is high and the streets of Ras Al Khaimah look spick and span. The change is happening at the grassroots levels. IWMP in one line is an affirmation that nothing is impossible. All it needs is a will to make it happen. Experts of Ceres Associates accept it is this unflagging spirit of the people and the support of the government which makes them forego the comforts of America for the harsh climate of the Middle East. For here, they are witness to something incredible, the will of man to overcome his problems, however great. As the trucks wind their way back to the workshop, dozers and trucks switch off their engines. It has been a hard day. Everyone is smiling, tired but satisfied. They await tomorrow's sunrise. They believe it is not work they are doing, it is a mission, a responsibility. After all, they are cleaning their own home. Who would give his children an unclean environment? After all, being human is being responsible. Come, let's join hands and ensure the can in your hand goes into the bin near you. Leave the rest to the men at IWMP. They know what is responsibility.
Let's join hands. You can make a difference. Save the planet. It's our home. We are a family. Let's keep our home clean. Let's protect the environment.